So, Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa confirms Nintendo Switch successor is backwards compatible. I mean, first off, it'd be kind of weird if it wasn't. I guarantee the Switch 2 is going to be exactly like the Switch, using the same small cartridges. It's just going to be maybe slightly a little more powerful. But it's not going to be like this huge, where they're using some kind of new, game, like a cartridge for a game, something like that. What I would love to see, but they won't be able to do it with the Switch because of how it is, make Wii games or Wii U games accessible. Like, you had the GameCube and you were able to play like Game Boy games on there. Do something like that. But the Wii, the Switch, it was basically marketed as like, oh yeah, this great handheld that you can take out or you can dock it at home and play on your TV. But I mean, I would hope that it's backwards compatible, because again, I don't think they're going to change how the cartridges are. They're still going to be the cartridges like that size, and they're going to probably just stick with that. Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa confirmed that the company's upcoming Switch Nintendo Switch successor is backwards compatible and will allow gamers to play Nintendo Switch games. Again, it'd be kind of weird if it didn't. Oh yeah, we know that the cartridges are exactly the same, but sorry, we're not going to have backwards compatibility. Next post, he wrote, "This is Furukawa. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be compatible on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced later at a later date." Oh, God, I'm so tired. I went to bed early last night. Well, early for me. Earlier for me, really. Normally I'm up till like 3 in the morning, but I went to bed at like 11:30 or something. Nintendo has not released many details about the Switch successor, but this is a pretty big one. Not really. However, the statement does leave open whether the physical cartridges for the Nintendo Switch will be compatible with the successor, given the emphasis on about Nintendo Switch Online. Given it's unclear if the physical cartridge will be compatible, it's unclear if games purchased physically will be accessible without cost on the successor if it is a digital only. Nevertheless, an announcement for the Nintendo Switch successor is expected soon. He posted, "This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within the fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of the Nintendo Switch back in 2015. I'm getting old. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct in June regarding Nintendo software lineup, latter half 2024, so fairly soon. If you're gonna have, I mean, at least digitally. Again, it would be stupid to have it only digitally. I mean, again, I seriously doubt the cartridges are going to be much different, and they've had no problem. Like the PS2, the PS2 comes out. Guess what? You can still play the PS1 games. The system's more powerful, but you can still backwards, add backwards compatibility. So same thing with the Xbox. If we're coming this far with technology, and Nintendo won't be able to make the cartridges backwards compatible on the Switch 2, there'd be truly something wrong. But I seriously doubt it's going to be that way. Yeah, like I said, the GameCube, I mean, it was an extra thing you had to put on the bottom. But I had one, and I was playing like Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby and Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Pokemon Spinball. Or Pokemon Pinball. I'm thinking of Sonic Spinball. Pokemon Pinball, the the third gen one, the better one. You know, it had the Ruby and Sapphire ones. That one was good. Pokemon Pinball was good, but the other one was just, it was bright and colorful, and it was really good. Oracle of Ages and Seasons, and actually, hang on. Yeah, this thing. Yeah, I had one of these. You see, you just put it right there, and bada bing, bada boom. You can play the games. Is this what? Mine was the black one. It came in like the different colors. Yeah, this is what it was like. It was really cool. It didn't take up much more space. It wasn't like some huge thing you had to put on there. It just went right on the bottom of the GameCube, and you pop it. You could play your Game Boy games, like original Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. Didn't matter. And yeah, we got Minish Cap. It was really cool. Um, yeah, you also have the disc to go with it, so that way it would work. But yeah, that's all it was. That's all it was. You see this part that plugged into the GameCube, and everything else that just kind of held it in place so it wouldn't move around. And you had your front right there. You had your, you know, your all your bits and bobs and circuitry inside. You had your little right there. And yeah, it was really, really good. It was so good. It was so good. So if this was with the GameCube, this was the early 2000s, there should be no reason why they can't make backwards compatibility with Nintendo Switch game with the cartridges in current day. There should be no reason. No reason. Again, PlayStation 2, when that came out, you were still able to play PlayStation games. It's not like, oh, hey, sorry, guys. Sorry. New generation of gaming, more powerful, but sorry, we couldn't figure out how to do backwards compatibility. So if you don't have your PlayStation anymore, sorry, you're out of luck and you won't be able to play your PlayStation games. No. Even back then, it was possible to do. Again, I seriously doubt the cartridges are going to be anything more than what they are. The little tiny cartridges. So there's no reason. If it's going to be more powerful, again, still, that's exactly another reason why it shouldn't be impossible. And on the other side of it, if they do manage to somehow not be able to make it backwards compatible with Switch games, I think you'll definitely see a rise of people emulating. Because it's like, well, I want to play my games, but the new Switch isn't compatible, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna emulate instead. So it's kind of in Nintendo's best interest to, you know, make it backwards compatible. That'll reduce the amount of emulation. So, which I mean, I'm not against emulation. You know, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. You know, and especially when it comes to emulating like really really old games, you know, it's emulation that keeps it alive. If you know, I think Nintendo has come out and finally said, or someone referenced, but something about, you know, that emulation is actually good because all the games that have been like lost to time are now online to play through emulation, and it's allowing people to experience games from early days of gaming because people have, you know, uploaded, you know, dumped those files onto the computer and made it possible to play them through emulation. So it saves the history of gaming. I mean, if it wasn't for emulation, you wouldn't have like Hong Kong 97. You know? That terrible game that no one seems to have a physical copy of, but you can play it online. Why? Because of emulation. Um so but again, it's in their best interest to do it. I would be very, very, very surprised if they came out and said, "Oh yeah, we've got this brand new Switch successor, and it's going to be more powerful, but sorry guys, you can't play your Switch games on it." You know, and that's, well, then that's also assuming if it's going to be like the Switch and still be, you know, you can dock it up, or you can take it on the go with you. If it's like that, there should be no reason. If it's going to be a actual console this time, but if it's a Switch successor, that means it's going to be kind of like the Switch. But even then, if it's going to be a console, you can just do something like that. Have a little peripheral that you set it on or whatever, and you can just your Switch games into it. It's not that hard. Not that hard. If Nintendo doesn't do it, I'm sure someone else will. You'll have a little peripheral that attaches to your Switch 2 or whatever they call it that allows you to play your games. So, regardless whether it's Nintendo that does it or a clever person who isn't Nintendo, they're gonna make backwards compatibility for the cartridges themselves accessible. So doesn't really matter in the end. Anyway, let me know what you think. And yeah, that's gonna do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.